As we're waiting to find out exactly what's going to happen with the SCOTUS decision on this Mississippi law, here are a few of the key statements that we can use to try to understand where they might go. So Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who of course has faced multiple accusations of sexual assault and sexual harassment, he said you have to pick when considering the interest of the pregnant woman and the fetus. That's the fundamental problem. And one interest has to prevail over the other at any given point in time. When you have those two interests at stake and both are important, as you acknowledge, why should this court be the arbiter rather than Congress, the state legislatures, state Supreme Courts, the people being able to resolve this? Well, I might make the case because you're literally the goddamn Supreme Court. At the end of the day, when there is disagreement about fundamental rights, it is literally your only job to be the arbiter of that. But I don't know, the dude has trouble understanding these concepts because he really, really likes beer. But anyway, that is him indicating, well, it's not on us, it's to them, which just means we're gonna let right-wing states take away your rights that you have. And let's see, Alito was questioning the Center for Reproductive Rights attorney, Julie Rickleman, about the viability line and said, what does a woman have when reaching the point of viability that would make her want an abortion that she didn't have before reaching it?
I don't know, knowledge of her pregnancy?
Knowledge of her pregnancy, time to have thought about it, time to have navigated a dense web of relationships and obligations and attempts to pressure her, the financial ability to do something about it, the knowledge of where she needs to go and when, working through multiple state regulations that make it take as long as possible and be as onerous as possible. That's some of the things that she might have. Again, they like to pretend that they don't live in this country. They don't understand these sorts of things.
They like to pretend that children don't live in poverty, that people don't live, check to check, barely getting by. They like to pretend that we have an insurance system that actually values human life. It's really, the hypocrisy is sad, John. It's just upsetting. It is.
Well, here's something more upsetting, potentially. Remember, was it Alito that, it might have been Kavanaugh too. Susan Collins is like, well, I believe that he will uphold the law and the law is Roe v. Wade. Okay, yeah, you really believe that. You super believe that. Weird. You were apparently super wrong. Will there be any consequences for that? No, because she's rich and powerful. There's never any consequences. But anyway, we also have, as of this morning, Judge Amy Coney Barrett, who was totally not put on the court at the last minute because she was a whack job Christian radical, a right winger, said both Roe and Casey emphasize the burdens of parenting. She then asked why safe haven laws, regulations under which parents cannot be prosecuted for leaving their newborn in a safe location or with an appropriate person, don't, quote, take care of that problem. I mean, after all, if there's adoption, which this is apparently new, I don't think that you could have put kids up for adoption before, then why should you have any control over your body? You should just bear it for 9 months, deal with, tens of thousands of dollars in medical debt, lifelong effects on your body, the possibility that will make it even more difficult for you to deal with an abusive spouse, abusive parents, all sorts of things like that, and then give it up for adoption. That's easy after all, from Amy Coney Barrett's point of view. So Viviana, you're a woman. Why doesn't that just take care of the whole thing?
Is really very short-sighted, and a lot of times people in privileged positions, which I assume Amy is one of them, and she has several children of her own, and I believe she's adopted, and so this is why she has this like chip on her shoulder about adoption. As a former social worker, obviously I'm a huge proponent of adoption. As a woman that was never able to conceive and have her own child, I'm a huge proponent of adoption. I may adopt in the future. This doesn't, they're two different things. This is about a woman's right to her own body. You deciding how, she's one of those people like, oh, you can come to my party, just leave or work early, take the bus, and figures out your life for you. Don't figure out my life for me. Let me figure out my life. If I tell you I can't do something, respect that, honor that, and let's move forward. Of course, there's a lot of different ways that you can make an unwanted pregnancy, work out for you. But you're one person, Amy Coney Barrett, and you don't get to decide for everybody. In fact, your job is to protect everybody's right to decide for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. We have already provided, and experts testifying can provide even more. Tons of reasons why women in a variety of different life circumstances might want to exercise the reproductive rights they've had their entire life.
I said
the other side is because our interpretation of right-wing Christianity says we don't want you to. That is the only.
That's the only thing.
That's the only thing on the other side. She has taken one religion that conveniently they follow in the Supreme Court, and decided, no, my religious beliefs trump your rights. Okay, well then I'm sure that they're gonna be, just as fine with if we were to put 6 Muslims, 6 Hindus, 6 Buddhists, 6 left-wing Christians, and then just whoever has the majority takes whatever belief they have that they were raised in, and then that's what we all have to follow. That's the precedent that we're setting.
If they're so concerned about that, why aren't fertility treatments covered by insurance for women? That's not covered. You're so concerned about a fertility, but you won't pay for us to get pregnant if we want to help us get pregnant. We can't afford that, but you're gonna decide that we should be pregnant if we don't wanna be pregnant. I've had a lot of friends who have had abortions, who some of them regret them. Some of them they say it was the best decision they ever made. I know somebody that's had a couple of abortions. They stand by, you know what, I had to do it. It was the best decision I ever made. As a social worker, I took people to get abortions, young women that needed to get abortions and have an adult there with them. And it was a difficult decision for them. And I'm glad that I have the right to choose for myself. I told you earlier, I don't think that I would do it, but you know what? I don't know for sure. What if there was a circumstance that put me in a position that my life was at risk, my child's life was at risk, I was in an abusive situation? Who knows? To not give somebody the right to choose about their own body is just obscene. And you're absolutely right. The Republican Party has been planning this for decades. They have been planning it since Reagan. They've been planning it since Bush. And we're finally here. And this is a very dangerous time. We really need to get involved politically. The youth need to be involved. All genders need to be involved, all ages. This is about our right to our own body. Once you start limiting rights, and just for women, it'll happen to men too. If you just get to decide what we get to decide to tell you what to do with your body, then where is the line? This is what's wrong.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.